welcome to another Daily Digest video. I am Merriam, and today I have a deck that looks like a deck that you might have seen in Modern before, especially if you're me, but is a little bit different. As you can see, Prized Amalgam suggests that we're a Dredge deck, but I'm calling this deck Dredgeless Dredge because the graveyard enablers are self-mill cards. We've got Hedron Crab, Glimpse the Unthinkable, Breaking and Entering, cards that we've seen in that sort of mill deck to fill our graveyard very quickly. And hopefully get those same creatures that you know from Dredge, Narcomoeba, Prized Amalgam, Bloodghast, along with a couple other ones. There's Rolling Rats and Gurmag Angler that you just cast from your hand. So the self-mill cards allow you to have a little bit more stability in your draws. Your enablers do all the work for you. You don't need enabler plus Dredge card to get the engine going. The engine is a little bit less robust because it doesn't self-perpetuate. Once you get a Dredge card in the graveyard, you can just keep going, whereas here you need more and more enablers to keep going. But you get to play a little bit more interactive matchup. We got Visions of Beyond to play a card advantage game, Collective Brutality, which is our main way of getting cards like Prized Amalgam that we want in our graveyard from our hand to our graveyard. So let's see how it works. This hand looks pretty good. We can start on... I'm not sure if I want to start on Hedron Crab and maybe hold out that I can later turn this Visions of Beyond on. If they have a removal spell for it on turn 1, that is really rough for us. Whereas I could just play it on turn 2, immediately follow it up with a fetch, and guarantee get 6 cards. Then again, I could want a Collective Brutality on 2. So there are some options here. This is definitely a keep because the hand looks pretty good to me with at least one enabler, some interaction. We've got a Prized Amalgam to get the party started. Given that I really want a Collective Brutality on 2, even if it's just to duress them, I think I'm going to take the risk and put my Hedron Crab into play. There aren't a lot of Lightning Bolts floating around. They have to be really a Fatal Push deck. And this is just so much more mana efficient. So we'll take the risk here and hope our O2 survives. Well, I don't like seeing Mountain, but I do like seeing them passing the turn. Not sure what that means. Are they like... No, it's not snow covered, so not Scred Red. If they were Burn and they had a Lightning Bolt, I assume they would aim it at the Crab, actually. Or they would have played a creature or a Lava Spike or suspended a Rift Bolt. So maybe a Valakut deck of some kind, and they just don't have a Bolt. Well, either way, I'm going to mill myself. So let's target me and bring our graveyard up. No hits here. This Breaking and Entering isn't really going to do much. So let's crack this fetch. Do I want a second Watery Grave? I think an island is good enough, especially with my opponent getting a mountain. They still might be some burn deck, and they really just want to aim it at my face based on their hand. Still no good hits here, so 6 cards, all bricks, really. Important to note that we do have this new Desert as another enabler. So I guess we are just escalating for 2 modes. I would like to not kill my own thing. So let's target them twice and fire it off. Okay, so they are they're like Scred Red, but they're just not playing Snow Mountains and Screds. So very similar deck. And Snaring Bridge might be a tough one. Kind of glad I got a basic now that I know they have various Blood Moons, so hopefully we can get a Swamp into play at some point. Although maybe casting a Cryptic is going to be tough. I think this game might be tough to win because we've had such a slow start. This combination of Blood Moons and Snaring Bridges are really going to slow us down. But take the card we can take and pass the turn. We have 10 cards in our graveyard, so we're still not even close to turning this Visions into Ancestral, but I'm going to cycle it next turn regardless, unless I draw something like Glimpse the Unthinkable. Oh man, they get to cast them out right now. Weird that they would cast the bridge first when I'm not threatening them. This cuts me off of mana. And I guess now we get to punish them, so let's mill myself for a bunch. Hopefully hit some Narcomoebas. There we go. Now we'll get some attacks in. Yes, I would like to use its ability. Looks like we had a Bloodghast as well. Yes, I would like to use its ability. Fortunately, we're going to be down to 18 cards now, so our visions is still not turned on. But maybe we can get it there. So we're also going to have a real tough time getting black mana for the rest of this game, so this Collective Brutality is going to be pretty bad. Our opponent's going to untap, go up to 5 cards, play Blood Moon here, go down to 3, so we'll get in a 5-point attack at least. And hopefully another 2 after that. Yep, Blood Moon is good. Hedron Crab, not so good. Attack you for 5. Should I cycle the Visions? I don't think that's really going to do anything yet. I think I can wait and try to draw 3 cards with it. Because now the game is slowed down to a crawl. Hopefully I don't get angered, I guess. Maybe I'm not supposed to play the crab, but I'm so low on resources. There is the Magus. Ugh. So we just get to attack for 2, I guess. At this point, I think I'll just... If I draw a land at any point, I get to mill myself for 3, and this draws 3 cards. And I do think I need to draw basics to Cryptic this Ensnaring Bridge in order to win this game. So I'm just going to hold on. I don't think going fast is going to really get me anywhere. Just going to plink away with these Narcomoebas. Maybe we can set up a turn where we EOT Cryptic, bouncing Snaring Bridge, untap, attack with a bunch of stuff, maybe finish them off with this Brutality. And that'll be my plan. Don't think it's a very good one. But I'm not sure how my opponent plans to win. So I think we're going to have plenty of time here to execute this very weird game plan. Well, that was a very good draw. Doesn't help us cast Cryptic, but now we can cast Brutality. And I guess we should attack first. Yeah, I like attacking first. And unfortunately, we're not only going to get Bloodghast back after they're not really that useful. I guess if the game's going to go long, I could try to mill my opponent, but that I really want to get my Ancestral off first. So I think what I'll do is mill myself for 3 and then my opponent for 3. I could pretty easily mill them, I think. That's probably a better plan. Let's target me. And let's target them. And let's bring back my 2/1. I guess I should have had these crab things resolved first in case I had an Amalgam, but the Amalgam is largely irrelevant. So we mill the Bolt, nothing really that exciting. I guess now we can draw 3 cards and see what we hit. Importantly, we have not hit any of our other basics, so... And there is an island, that is great. Ghost Quarter doesn't do anything because of Blood Moon, but now... I guess, and we have a 3rd Hedron Crab, actually. So we have 4 or 5 lands, they're dead, starting next turn. So why don't I kill the Magus and... Yeah, I guess I should have put this Amalgam in first, but I'm not really thinking about that at this point. So let's kill the Magus, and do I drain them? Or just dress them in case this card in their hand is good? The only card I'm not worried about is Anger. And if they had Anger, they would have cast it last turn instead of the Spirit Guide for sure. They would have cast anything they could have. So I don't know what expensive sorcery they wouldn't have cast last turn. So I guess I just drain them in case I have to go on a beatdown plan again. So 2 modes. These two. Kill this thing. Make you lose some life. Discard this amalgam. And pass the turn. I guess if they keep drawing spells, oh okay, they drew a land. These Narcomoebas might have been able to get in for some more too. Another Simian Spirit Guide. It's okay. We are actually, I think, in pretty good shape, all things considered. Hedron Crab. And now I have 23 cards in my graveyard. I'm not even sure I want to cast this Garmag Angler in case I draw visions. I guess I can cast it for 3, actually. Let's target you. So they have Chandra in their deck. That could be annoying, but I just milled 2 of them. I guess I'll bring their graveyard up too. Make it tough to see both of them. So they have some removal here, but to kill crabs. Yeah. This would cost me 4 cards though, so I'll hold off on the Angler, which isn't going to attack anyway. So now I can draw another basic island, and they're basically dead on... No, they're not dead on board yet, because these crabs don't do anything. They just draw land. So I just really want to draw more lands. Yep. Bam. It's a race. Now they're at the point where... Ooh, they have Main Deck Relic. That could be an issue. So let's cast this thing. I just paid black. Why do you want me to pay black? Okay, let's try this again. Oh, I clicked the Bloodghast. That's why. There we go. Figured it out. So I have to delve 2. So why don't I just remove these things? Who cares? Now I have a 5/5 that can't attack. Pass the turn. There are 25 cards. So if I can find 2 lands before they find something really good, but any removal spell limits my clock. Oh, another land. So their draw from their opening hand has not been very good. That helps. I don't think there's any point in casting that. And if I had just gone towards milling them with Hedron Grab from the beginning, I think it would be over by now. But yet another Simian Spirit Guide. Oh, no land. Okay, well, things are getting a little dicey at this point, although presuming if my opponent draws an Anger of the Gods, say, I'm not even that... No, I guess I am worried about that because my things never attack. Well, this is not good. This thing goes off very quickly. So now we really do have to find a land. Okay, so this should help find us lands. Or not. So we're not going to quite get there. Even if we draw a land next turn, they're on 13 cards in their deck, so they go untap, go to 12. We bring them to 3. They go to 2, and then they ultimate. I guess they have 8 lands, so it's a 3-turn clock to kill us, and they sort of have to kill all the crabs, or we get to draw another land to kill them. It's hard for them not to assume we have a land in the 6-card hand, so that might soak up 6 damage of that clock. Yep. Really just need to draw a land here. If not, I think we're dead. I think that's going to do it. No land. We have a 25 land deck too. A little disappointed there. We only have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lands in the graveyard. We have 6 in play. We exiled 2, so that's 16. So there's 9 lands left in our 15 card deck. We were a slight favorite to draw one there. I definitely want to gain a life with this, and I don't think anything else really matters. So, sure, let's. I guess I can put all the blood gas in my graveyard. That's probably better than nothing. So let's just do all 3 modes. Choose them for things, kill this creature, choose them for things, discard these 2. I might end up drawing exactly basic island here to set up a cryptic turn. I don't think that's going to be good enough, but with them having 3 blockers, if I cryptic the ensnaring bridge, get 2 more blood gas back. They block all 3 blood gas, and they take. I guess they take, or they block angler 2 blood gas, and they take 4, so that's 1 short. Which means if I had this amalgam in play, that would be an out. So you can blame me for that. Okay. They skip through their turn. That would be helpful. Oh wow. Well, not sure why they didn't ultimate there, but that really does give us another turn to kill them. And that's basic island, so perfect. We'll put these on the stack, and these on the stack, and mill you a bunch. So now they're down to 2 cards in their graveyard. And I guess we just get to mill them out by bouncing the Blood Moon, actually, rather than the bridge. Because the attack I noted is 1... Oh, they block Angler Amalgam and then a Bloodghast, and they take 6. So I guess the attack is lethal too. So have them dead either way. Oh, so many triggers to go through. And I guess I can tap their team with the Cryptic too, so I had them really dead on the attack. So let's do it. Yeah, I have to cast the Cryptic either way. I was thinking if there was a way for me not to show them that I have Cryptic in my deck, because I don't think I've built one. Return target permanent to their hand and tap all of their things. Return this one. 1, 2, 3, and another. And look how dead you are. Should I send the Hedron Crabs at Koth just to teach them a lesson? The Hedron Crab means business. Well, that was a weird game, but we did win it. Now, as you might see in the sideboard, we can sort of transition into the super mill deck rather than being a creature deck. And given that my opponent is good against creatures with all their ensnaring bridges and stuff, I kind of like being the mill deck. Yeah, as long as we get basic island, basic swamp into play, I think we'll be okay. So why don't we just cut our creatures, like these stupid amalgams and these narcomoebas and these bloodghasts and these rotting rats and these Gurmag anglers. Is this too many? Yeah, our deck has 16 creatures in it, so that's a problem. Do we want to have surgical in our deck as opposed to these creatures? I mean, we're not really beating down at all. So I don't really see what value the creatures hold, except maybe as a roadblock. And I mean, who knows? If we end up beating down, this one's the best at beating down. So maybe I just leave in the anglers, because they block all the... They even block Koth tokens. They can attack planeswalkers. That could be relevant. I'm not going to be milling myself. Yeah. Even if I don't mill myself, this should be reasonably easy to cast. So I guess I'll just bring in the surgicals, because the cage isn't good. That is kind of techy. No one would expect you to have a cage in the sideboard of this deck when you board into the mill deck. You can just have one. I like it. Archive Trap is not very good in this matchup, so that's another thing to consider. Our opponent doesn't really search their deck. If an opponent searched his or her library, and then this is me searching, so I assume Surgical doesn't turn on Archive Trap. So maybe the fact that Archive Trap is bad means I have to attack, but attacking seems so bad in this matchup. Given the transformational sideboard that I don't have answers to things like Bridge and Blood Moon, I can't Collective Brutality them away. It's really just trying to Cryptic them, and I only have the 3 basic islands. This is target player, right? Yeah. I think I'll try the mill plan here. Our opponent had main deck Relic, and that just goes to show you how far they're going to hate the graveyard. No lander, going to send this one back. See if our transformational sideboard will get him. I also like that our opponent doesn't have much of a clock. Unless they get down a fast Planeswalker, they're not really putting us under any pressure. So unfortunately we can't get a basic island with this hand, but I think on 6 it's still a keep. Do I want a Collective Brutality? I don't think so. I don't think it's very good in the game against them. Doesn't take any of the cards we care about. Kind of wish we had some Thoughtseizes. Malak, it's fine. Another Archive Trap is awkward. Don't think I want to cycle this Visions. Maybe I do, though. See what our opponent does. If they go for a turn 2 Blood Moon, we'll definitely cycle it. I don't see myself getting them down below to getting to 20 cards in graveyard very quickly because of these traps. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no. This is going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. Please don't play Blood Moon. Please don't play Blood Moon. I guess I could have kept the Brutality in case they had Magus of the Moon. That is definitely relevant. And then I could have made my decision with this Verdant. Okay. Well, of all the Planeswalkers they were going to play on turn 2, I think this one's the most reasonable one. I guess they're just going to draw a bunch of cards with it. But that's actually kind of good for the mill plan. So, yeah, we'll take 1. And, I think I do want to cycle this thing. I don't see myself getting 3 cards out of it anytime soon, and I want to hit land drops. I think the tempo matters for those. The Silumgar's Command is awkward. It costs a lot of mana. We're going to set up a draw step stop here to cast this Surgical. See which card scares us the most. What do you have? We can hit Koth, which I think they would have played. This Chandra I also think they would have played over Pyromaster. And then, so we didn't really hit anything we want to tag with Surgical. So that's annoying. I don't expect them to play a 4-drop. I really wanted to hit Blood Moon, Magus the Moon, or I guess not Bridge, but I wanted to hit a Moon. And we didn't do that. So we'll pass the turn. Down to 41 cards in deck. Yeah, well, we don't have Collective Brutality for that, so probably should have zeroed the Chandra before they did anything, right? But, well, definitely should have used the Chandra. But I guess I'll take that. Oh, another mountain. How perfect. Yeah, maybe we should have kept the Collective Brutality. This is the only card that it's relevant for. At this point, I guess I just want to tag like Koth. I want to hit something before they can cast it. Well, they have the other Chandra, so our other option. Well, we'll definitely take the Koth out of your library. And yeah, just a bunch of Blood Moons. They still only have the 2 relics, so I guess they don't have any more on their board. Maybe I'm supposed to go back to this aggro plan. They kept in all their bridges. Especially because they might board out some of their anti-creatures now that they see me on this mill plan. We get to run that game. But I think I'm about to just get beat down. We got 5 points of burn. Another Chandra. And that Chandra really stings. I guess they can't cast it yet. So they might just start zeroing this first Chandra. They can scry into something with the Magma Jet. This attack brings it to 14. They burn me to 9. Exile Pyretic Ritual. So that gives them a Chandra if they want it. Looks like they do. Get to choose which one to keep. Yeah, this mill plan seems really awkward, but Archive Trap is not a 0 mana card. If we had 26 cards out of their deck right now, I'd feel very live. As is, I do not. 25 land deck, I've had some issues making my land drops. But that's how it is sometimes. Top, awkward. So they have 4 points a turn, plus another 3. Any other burn spell makes it a 3-turn clock. So I basically have to draw land, but I need one of them to be basic island at least. So I could actually destroy Chandra and Magus with Silumgar's command if I draw basic island. That's my only plan. Brutality would have been quite nice this game. It's such a narrow set of games, and I really wanted to hit land drops with my Archive Traps. There's the Bolt. So that they like the top card of their hand. I imagine it's another burn spell. Island, please. That will not do it. But I guess if they kept a bunch of blanks on top, I'm not actually dead yet. But somehow I doubt that that was the case. They top-topped and exiled with Chandra, though. So I guess they just put a bad one there. That'll do it. You want to cast it? Oh, they did. How savvy. Okay. So we haven't seen a lot of graveyard hate. Still see the ensnaring bridges, which are a problem. The only reason I was really able to go on the mill plan last game was because I drew a bunch of Hedron Crabs and they didn't die, which I don't think is very common. These surgicals are pretty bad, and these Archive Traps are pretty bad. Maybe I'm just supposed to have more of those sorts of cards, like fewer Rotting Rats, because my opponent's trying to empty their hand for bridge anyway. Which would mean if you cut the Mine Funerals and just have a couple extra Breaking and Enterings, this lets me be a little bit more explosive, which is good against bridge, and have more ways to mill them out should they assemble the lock. This is only boarding in 2 cards. I just really don't like either of these 8, and without these, the Funerals aren't great, because this only mills them. So you really have to be on the mill plan if you want this card in your deck. Let's go back on it. I expected them to have more graveyard hate after sideboarding, but it looks like they really remain mostly the same deck. Maybe they just were confused as to what's going on, but it was pretty clear what we were doing in game 1. We had all these dredge creatures. We filled our graveyard with cards. We brought them back into play, and we tried attacking. And when that didn't work, Hedron Crab let us switch plans. So I don't have a way to get this Bloodghast into my graveyard, but I do have multiple Breaking and Enterings. These mill 8. So this will get me to 18 cards, 20 with the 2 fetches, so I might as well save the Visions, because I'll get to draw 3 cards with it. And hopefully my opponent doesn't have turn 1 Blood Moon. We'll get 2 basics right off the bat with these fetches, rather than getting the grave in tapped, because it matters so much to get basics into play. Yeah, that's about right. So, they have one of their relics on turn 1. what is the plan? It's going to be hard to turn this visions on. Maybe I can. Oof. Am I just supposed to try to mill 8 and hope to hit the goods? Or am I supposed to try to mill them, even with this wonky Bloodghast in my hand? If I mill 8 and it's not very good, then I am pretty dead. So what constitutes good? It'd be like Narcomoeba Amalgam with some extra. Has to be a lot, like at least one Narcomoeba and multiple amalgams in order to establish some pressure. That does not seem good. I think I'm going to go on the mill plan. Why couldn't they have had this in game 1? Breaking. Target them. Well, now I look like a moron. But I saw their deck. A little surprised they only had 2 in. Yeah, they're just holding up this relic. Oh. So they're casting some 3-mana card. Wow. Their hand must not be very good. I imagine they would not have made this play had I milled myself. Top, though. So, but that's, I mean, that's not going to do much because I'm just going to mill them. So that's nice. You probably should have waited until the end step. So let's target them again. And we hit a bunch of creature removal spells, so not great. Well, I'm still going to hold out hope on this Visions. Maybe that's a bad plan. Next turn we'll cast some really mediocre beaters, and our deck will look really strange. But maybe we'll need them to deal with Planeswalkers? Could be reasonable. Would not be opposed to them playing Blood Moon, given that I have 3 basics, but this looks like a Planeswalker before I get a chance to establish some creatures. Or it's a Simian Spirit Guide. So pretty happy about that. And just a Lightning Bolt. So they've put 20 cards in their graveyard, and oh yes, and main phase the Relic, perfect, so I get to Ancestral. And I have another Breaking, and they have no clock. Well, this is going really well. Oh yeah, it new Revealette. I don't think I need to use that yet, even though there is the threat of Blood Moon shutting it off. It's pretty mana inefficient to do that. And if they had a Blood Moon, they would have used it by now. I think the plan is to just mill them for 8 again. Get some stuff out. So they're down to 26 cards. Really need to find Hedron Crabs or Glimpse the Unthinkables. Any, like 2 of those cards would be very good. They have to have just drawn that land, and their card in hand can't be very good. And pretty soon they have to pop this Relic to try to find some gas. Ooh, and even, oh, and my time is a little low, so why don't I stop doing as much talking and start playing. Let's get our board down now to protect against a Planeswalker and block against this Spirit Guide, because I'm already down to 11 from their burn. There's another land off the top, but their card in hand can't be good. Maybe it's an Anger? Okay, it's a Bridge? Sure. Nobody gets to attack. I assume this relic is getting popped this turn. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yes. Okay, mill 10. They're down to 14 guards. Still not popping this relic. Very surprised by that fact. Still no real point in me using this land. I can just wait on it. Play a Narcomoeba, have this Cryptic in my hand for any really good spell. So that this will stop a Planeswalker. They're down to 12 cards in library right now. I can make it 8. So they have 8 more turns to kill me, and I have a counterspell in my hand. So I feel pretty good. Let's use this on end step now. Yes. That's a bunch of Planeswalkers. That's good. I'm going to hold this land in case I draw Hedron Crab. And sure, why don't we attack? Not sure what my opponent drew there that they didn't just immediately cast on 5 mana. Hopefully I don't die to this Valakut. That would be awkward. Oh no. Do I have to counter this? I might have to, because the Valakut can easily kill me. How many cards are... How many... I've seen 1, 2 total Chandras, 3 total Chandras, and a Koth, 2 Koths and 3 total Chandras. That's a... I don't remember exactly how many Planeswalkers I saw, but it can't be many more than that. I'm going to counter this, and I'm going to bounce the Valakut in case they have a land in their hand to force them to replay it so they don't get to mountains as quickly. Not that I think that really matters. Also on 3 minutes, and I guess they're just trying to waste my clock with this relic. 1 good draw. That's actually very good. Let's go score to this Valakut. I guess I can wait on it in case I draw Hedron Crab. I should just do it now. I want them to get a land out of their deck. Okay, so I have the Valakut covered. I assume they're not going to put a land into play. Down to 6 cards now, so Hedron Crab will kill them with this Delta. Yeah, I think they're trying to time me out. But I'm going to F6 a bunch. We got plenty of time for 6 turns. I'm at 11. Had I known I was drawing Ghost Quarter, I would have saved that Cryptic Command. Okay, well, Mega stops the Hedron Crab from being lethal. Also takes other Rivulets out as outs. There we go. We did it. Well, mediocre mill playing against a deck with very little clock is still very good. Yeah, they had 1 Chandra left, so if they had found it, we probably would have lost to it. But maybe if I had more time, I would have tried to count how many lands I had seen, try to figure out how many lands they had left, but I just didn't have time to go through everything. It's certainly possible that once you analyze all of the information, using the Cryptic Command there is wrong. Also possible I should have just drawn a card. But I was playing quite quickly there at the end. And I'm glad that although the transformational sideboard sort of got me more than it got my opponent. I went to it in game 2, and I don't think it was very good. And then when I went back to it in game 3, after seeing that he had very little graveyard hate, they happened to have a piece on turn 1. But Breaking and entering was quite good, and I think our opponent definitely made a mistake not cracking the relic at some point. Once they realize I'm on a mill plan, especially after the second breaking and entering, using it just to cycle through their deck and get a clock down, find a planeswalker, and to turn off my Visions Beyond would have been quite good. But you just play the people they put in front of you, and we were able to get this one. So hope you enjoyed it, and you can come back and see me on Monday. Bye.